we cannot understand what it means to be Christian unless we understand Torah. Because we have to understand who we are, why we are, where we're going, who this whole Jesus guy is, why we're following him, why we have to place our faith in him. Like, what does that even mean? As we go through Torah, we're going to realize that maybe we've been defining faith wrongly. Sometimes we treat faith as just like intellectual belief and like assent. And that's not how Torah describes faith. You're not going to understand the importance of faith. You're not going to understand the purpose of faith, why it has to be in Jesus in particular. You're not going to understand any of that stuff. And then also the question of like, how do we relate to Torah? I am not wearing clothes that are all made of a single material. I am not wearing tassels, and I am not eating kosher foods. So the question becomes, wait a second, if you're a Christian and you are really passionate about studying Torah, why is it that you're not following it? You're not going to understand that unless you actually study Torah and figure out what is the purpose of Torah. Because there are people who charge Christians with that too, right? They'll be like, oh, well, you say that you follow the Bible, but I don't see you wearing your tassels. It's like, okay, well, maybe you haven't studied the Bible enough, because if you studied it, you would understand why. Yeah. But I think that there's a lot of Christians who probably cannot explain why we don't follow Torah. Or they'll usually say, oh, well, Jesus got away with that, which is also incorrect.
And kind of the point that flows from that is understanding how it all fits together will help you not only be able to like defend the faith against other people, and not just defend it, but have conversations with them about it too. It'll also give you more confidence as well, because you're not going to hear someone raise that question and then you all of a sudden you're doubting everything and your faith's shattered because someone asked why you like seafood.
Yeah, because for instance, Sean, you're wearing short sleeves right now, and I see that you have tattoos on both your arms.
Yeah.
And according to Torah, you can't do that. And so I either need to be rebuking you and kicking you off this podcast, or we need to have a good conversation about what the purpose of Torah is. Yeah. And then you need to explain to me why you got those tattoos, right?
Exactly.
But like, I say this in like a joking manner, but it is actually important from an apologetic perspective. And when we use the term apologetics, it's a Greek word. It just means to defend. You really can't defend the faith unless you understand the faith. And there's a lot of Christians who they don't understand the faith. They only do things a certain way because they've gone to church and that's what the pastor told them to do. All of this goes back to the point that understanding Torah and understanding Scripture as a whole helps us understand why we are who we are and why we do the things that we do. You don't want to just be a Christian because that's what you were raised. Because guess what? There are plenty of people who were raised Muslim or raised in a Latter-day Saint household. If everybody's just being what they were raised, we're not actually pursuing truth. It's my conviction that we should pursue truth. And the way we do that is by honestly figuring out what we believe, why we believe it, and why we're doing the things that we do. And we want to live in a manner as consistent as possible with the God who made all things. And I think that Torah lays that foundation. And therefore, you got to understand Torah if you're going to understand who we are.